the Saturday Morning Hangover. We are your hangover without the headache right here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. I am James Pledger, and right now, Jack Thompson, he's out, he's skiing. I don't know if he broke a leg or not. I'm not sure yet, but in his stead, I have my man, Jeff Garcia from Spurs Zone, Jeff G on Spurs Zone on Twitter. Jeff, good morning, my friend.
Good morning, James. Thanks for having me on. And how are you doing? Because I think you're literally the Saturday morning hangover today.
Oh, what are you talking about? I don't know.
I think, well, first of all, look, should we just tell everybody, like, when I called you last night and to ask you, James, so thanks for having me on. And I have no idea what time I should meet you. I hear in the background club noise, music, beers clinking. I go, oh, that's why James hasn't called me.
No. It wasn't Michael Jimenez's birthday last night.
As he drinks water from his desk there?
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to stay hydrated regardless of being hungover.
Yeah, definitely.
That's not a thing. Would you stop trying to connect dots?
Look at you. You're a few minutes in and you're slurring already.
Would you stop trying to connect dots, Jeff? There's nothing that happened outside of here or otherwise in which would cause me to not be 100% today. Stop it all.
Okay, but just one more thing, though. Was it worth it?
Worth what?
Having that party, having that fun.
What fun?
As Michael Jimenez says, so hungover.
What fun? I don't know what you're talking about. I still don't know what you're talking about. What's going on? Did some things happen?
I applaud you, though, for having the energy, the fuel, the fire, the power to still come into work.
Yeah, I've got fire. I've got fuel. Give me fuel. Give me fire. Give me that which I desire.
All right. Well, on that note, James, what are we talking about today?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about? I didn't do a whole lot of prep today, so we're good.
Well, I told you and Minix that about maybe in a couple more minutes and we'd break the record and get
Nope. I'm pushing that. I took the over. I took the over on the nerd talk.
Okay.
So
I'm with you. I think that is the over. Yeah, I think I was right. I was kidding with y'all saying 3 minutes in after introductions, but we already got requested to give a full breakdown on WandaVision.
That'll happen.
So that's on the plate. Somebody asked you if you would trade Vucevic, Tim Duncan, some ridiculousness there.
What?
Exactly. Yeah. I put it out there that I'm filling in today.
I love Vucevic, but come on, let's not lose our heads here. Like, I'm not trading Tim Duncan for
yesterday, didn't he?
I'm not trading Tim Duncan for Vucevic. That's just not happening. Like, I love him, and as far as I go is like I trade Derek White. Like, that's it.
Tread lightly there. Tread lightly. Spurs fans can get.
How lightly do I need to tread on Derek White?
I know. It's just keyboard words and everything when they come at you on Twitter, social media.
Like, it's Derek White. I love him. I love him. But how lightly do I actually have to tread on him?
I guess we'll have to talk about that in a while. But he definitely was stomping all over the Spurs last night.
Speaking of stomping all over the Spurs last night.
Yeah.
Boy, Vucevic looked good.
Didn't he?
Ah, man. That's a dude.
He loved it.
That's a dude right there. That's one thing I did see last night. I saw Vucevic going off, but he was the only one going off.
Yeah, he was. Derek White called him a load to handle throughout the whole game, but yeah, he definitely looked good and just knocking down that midi, going in the paint, taking it to Jakob, doing it all. Spurs of brass are looking at that, going like, "Hey, he looks good. He can look good in silver and black."
There's nothing to worry about there, though, right? Like, he didn't come talk with the Spurs or the Spurs staff after the game, right?
Yeah, a lot of Spurs fans sent me some photos of Vooch walking casually over to the Spurs side of the court after the game and chatting up with coaches. So that got everybody riled up. But you got to think about this though. Orlando Apparently they want a haul. If that's going to happen. But at the end of the day, Jay, let's be honest, we know nothing's going to happen. This is all just fun to talk about.
What? There's nothing going to happen, Jeff?
We
Don't
know
ruin my hopes.
With the Vooch.
Don't ruin my hopes. I need hopes and dreams and Vucevic on the Spurs roster. These are things that are needed in life, Jeff, especially after a night last night.
It was, hey, personally, speaking of last night, man, actual fans inside the AT&T Center, not that fake pumped-in fan noise that they usually throw out there. It was just great to see that as well, as much as it was seeing Vooch. Just dream, James, just dream. But, yeah, the fans,
I love seeing fans, but more so for the fans, I was entirely happy that their first game was Fiesta jerseys and Fiesta court.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to see that on your first trip into the AT&T Center this season and in over a year, to be honest, that's a good feeling, right?
That's the way to welcome back Spurs fans back into the home of the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, you got that court there. By the way, I made this comment yesterday. I love the center court logo, the way it just looks. I love that look. Very just clean, classic. A little tip of the hat to the OG logo they used to have out in the Alamo Dome back in the day. And, loved it. Yeah, Spurs fans were out there cheering on their team. A little over 3K at the AT&T Center. It was good to just see just some sort of sense of normalcy in San Antonio. And there it was. Hopefully it'll get better as the season moves on.
It was good to see it. It was also good to hear it, you know?
Yeah.
It was good to be able to hear fan interaction other than that piped-in noise, the squeak of the shoes. Like, all that matters in basketball. It matters.
And the players tip their cap to the fans there. Look, let's just face it. Maybe that first quarter got everybody a little nervous versus Orlando. But, guys like White and Murray and Rudy Gay, they all said after the game that fans gave them that little push when they were down a little bit. And, Spurs definitely needed to get that W, not only to break that 2-game losing streak, but because they're going to be away from the AT&T Center for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird. They just got back from the rodeo road trip, quote unquote rodeo road trip.
Yeah.
All 3 games of it.
2-1.
But to come home and play a couple games before jettisoning back off, that just feels kind of weird in the whole grand scheme of things. Like, if fans truly were allowed in, like, I would feel short-sighted as a fan to be able to be like, oh, we spent the whole month of February out on the road, and then we're finally back, and then they're gone again.
Yeah, well, it's like they're going on the rodeo road trip, basically. I mean, it's an East Coast swing. They got to get Philly tomorrow. They got another couple of East Coast games on there, so it's like, hey, just pick up where you left off, San Antonio, and get on back to the East Coast and finish out your rodeo road trip. But, yeah, the good news is they feast on the East this season. The bad news is these ain't the cellar-dweller East teams that they've been feasting on this season, so they got to get Philly. I know we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest of road trips that they have coming up, but
yeah,
as you said, we'll talk about that later. Also coming up on the show, Dak Prescott just got the bag, man. He got everything he wanted
for a small loan.
Then some. You really should. Like, you should see if he'll sponsor Locked On Spurs.
I hope so. That'd be awesome. That'd be great. Maybe Saturday morning hangover as well.
Maybe for a couple milli.
To him, that's pocket change. But yeah, if you're a Cowboys fan, you're elated. I think the last thing they needed to do was slap that franchise tag on him, didn't they? I mean, that would have been yeesh.
Oh, that would not have.
Yeah,
well, that would have been great for us. Like, let's not twist words. It would have been great for us because Dak not being signed for the past 2 years has been one of the greatest narratives floating around in the media for over 2 years now.
But and look, No, I was saying, but if you look at your Cowboys fans, A, you're happy, and then B, you got your quarterback back and pairing up with Zeke there. You just still got to wonder if that's still enough. If that's still enough to get Dallas back into title contention.
We'll talk about that coming up here in a bit. Also, the saga goes on down in Houston as my Texans continue to show how incompetent they are.
Are you putting it nicely for your Houston Texans there, or is there other choice of words you would have for them if this is
I
not
have a
regulated
whole
by
lot
the
of words
FCC?
that I can't say right here on air, but if you look at it, how would you feel if the Texans or if the Spurs have mishandled Tim Duncan in such a way that he was actively saying he wanted out?
Yeah, I think I'd be right there with you. I think it'd be using other choice words too. But you gotta hope that maybe, James, this is just a learning lesson for Houston moving forward, because my God, they screwed the pooch on this one. I mean, just royally. And now, I mean, how do you do that to a generational player? I mean, do you really treat him that way? I mean, do they not know what to do with players of that caliber?
I mean, you fall in love with what's the pastor down there in Houston's name? I know Jack Easterby's the one in charge right now, but what's the big one? The one that owns the old Summit now?
Oh, good Lord. You got me on that one.
Joel
I have no
Osteen.
clue.
You fall in love with Osteen,
yes,
basically.
yes.
You fall in love with Osteen. Yeah. That's how it works out. Because Jack Easterby is now more important than everything else on this franchise. And that is a sad commentary. He is Jeff Garcia of Jeff G on Spurs Zone on Twitter. You can follow his work at News4 San Antonio, or also on the Locked On Spurs podcast. I am James Pledger. When we come back, Spurs looked good last night, but how much should we take from that victory? And how good did Nikola Vucevic look?
I knew it.
We'll talk about it next right here on the Saturday Morning Hangover. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Most of us don't think about our brakes until we need to think about our brakes. Jason Minnick's here for NewBrakes.com, NUBrakes.com. They are a mobile brake shop. They will come to you to fix your brakes. We all like things to be easy and convenient, and New Brakes has done that with brake repair. They will come to your home or office or wherever you are. Busy work schedule, no problem. Relaxing at the house, no worries. New Brakes comes to you, and they will repair your brakes while you do whatever it is you do. At New Brakes, they only fix brakes. New Brakes provides convenient and affordable brake repairs without the normal upsells traditional repair shops love to give you once your car is up on the lift. Most repairs are done in less than an hour. New Brakes uses premium brake parts, and they back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go read all the 5-star reviews. If your brakes are squeaking or grinding, go to newbrakes.com and schedule your repair. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN. Newbrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
Experience the Movie Metal pop-up installation at the San Antonio Museum of Art. This limited-time installation displays the artistry of the iconic automobiles and creatures that made the movie. See Batmobiles, Speed Racer, time-traveling DeLorean, and Iron Man's Formula One race car. Towering statues such as Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, and Predator. Movie Metal at the San Antonio Museum of Art. Now through April 11th. Presented by Generations Federal Credit Union and Spectrum Reach.
It's more than just your lawn. It's your fairway to heaven. It deserves the Kubota Z400. Class-leading speed, agility, a powerful transmission, simple deck height adjustments, and a quality cut. When you need comfort, convenience, and performance, then you need the professional-grade Kubota Z400. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
The day my son died, it was beautiful outside. He went for a ride on his motorcycle and was hit by a car 1 mile from home.
On average, a motorcyclist is killed on Texas roads every day. There is nothing that can prepare you for when they come to you and tell you that your husband has been killed.
Today, I saw a tarp-covered body laying in the middle of an intersection. It was a motorcyclist.
Look twice for motorcycles. There's a life riding on it. Brought to you by TxDOT.
If you can't say something nice about someone, call or text us and we'll make fun of them together. The Blitz with Jason and Rob. Weekdays 4 till 7. Only on San Antonio Sports Leader. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. All day, every day.
Welcome back into the Saturday morning hangover right here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. I am James Pledger. I am joined today, as Jack Thompson is out skiing, hanging the slopes, whatever you want to do. I'm here hard at work, just working my tail off here this morning.
That you are. Kudos to you. Not only do you rally from your partying last night, but well, look, if you're not on YouTube right now, you really, really should be on the ESPN.
No, they shouldn't, Jeff.
Right now.
They shouldn't.
Yeah. I'm begging everybody to please go right now. You have to see what I'm witnessing right now. Look, first of all, if you never had a conversation with James, especially when he comes on Locked On Spurs frequently, he loves the pace. That's his thing. He loves the pace. But this is a different type of pacing that I'm witnessing from James today. This is a very, oh my God, I am struggling. What was I thinking last night?
No, I wouldn't do that. No.
Yeah. Please, everybody, go to the YouTube page right now, ESPN San Antonio. You got to see this, especially during the timeouts. I love it. I love it. I got to the point where I was concerned.
I'm not hurting. Is the show over, by the way?
No.
Has it been 2 hours?
A long way to go.
What? It hasn't been 2 hours yet? That wasn't.
Would it help if we start talking a little about Spurs? Would that help you get distracted a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of the game last night, and Spurs start off sluggishly, but they eventually kicked into gear, and they looked good doing so.
Yes, they did. That first quarter got me a little nervous. Vooch was doing everything. Yeah.
Vooch, they had no answer for Vooch. Luckily, they had an answer for everybody else.
I didn't get the email from the Magic asking me if I wanted to suit up because that's how depleted they were. They have been for quite some time. And kudos to the Spurs that they still were able to beat a depleted team. I got a little nervous there because we know what happened the last time they played your Rockets when they were depleted, and they picked up that L. Nevertheless, it was a good game. But what stood out for me, though, was just the depth that this team has.
Yeah.
DeMar didn't play, but other guys stepped up, especially the veterans, Mills and Rudy.
DeMar didn't play. I felt like there was somebody else missing on the court, though. I felt like there was just somebody else missing there. Just not on the bench, not in the Spurs uniform. Like I don't know. I just felt like there was somebody not there.
Oh, LMA. Good old LMA.
Lamarcus was Aldridge. He not there?
No, he's not there. He's away from the team right now. They look for a new home for him. Hopefully via trade, because at least the Spurs will get something back. But it's going to be rough. It's going to be really tough to trade that man, isn't it?
I think it is. A lot of teams are going to wait for him to be bought out, I think, knowing that they are basically on the outs, regardless of what happens. So, what do you expect in return for a Lamarcus Aldridge if you were to get anything right now?
Well, I'm keeping expectations low because I think that's what we're going to get. We're going to get a low haul, nothing too fancy, nothing. Look at the names: LeBron James, Anthony Davis. They're not going to be thrown out there in any type of deal.
No Porzingis, no Vucevic,
or Vucevic. They ain't going to be thrown out there for LMA, but. Best case scenario, you get yourself a couple second rounders. You get yourself a multi-purpose player, swing guy, a young guy. But the thing is that the Spurs, they got to take back about $19 million in cap space. And I think that's what's making San Antonio a little hesitant right now because they have a lot of money next
deal?
offseason. What's that again?
I said not an expiring deal. They're not going to take back an expiring deal, much like Lamarcus is.
Then there's this too. They only have one roster spot open, so something's got to give. But yeah, I mean, I think at the San Antonio, you just get the best case deal. You know, I had this conversation with Spurs fans the other day, and this whole getting the best deal possible. And is it the situation here, James, where it's conference be damned? If it's a Western Conference team and it's a team that, that is up there, top 8 team, but they give you the best deal possible, you still pull that trigger? And you know how Pop is when it comes to interconference trading, i.e. Kawhi Leonard. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah, I get it. But at this point, if you're going to move him, but the problem is, especially when you listen to Pop's initial words about breaking the story and beating Shams and Woj to the punch, it sounds like they're working on something that works for both them and Lamarcus. And if nothing amicable comes to terms, then they're just going to buy him out. Is that what you got from that initial?
Yeah. I had two things. The first thing was that's how it's ultimately going to end, a buyout. But then I had the second thing too, thinking like, you know what? They're probably working on a few things right now. Things are probably cooking. Wouldn't be surprised if this happens sooner than later, because you don't want this hanging over the team's head for the next few days before the trade deadline expires. Now, kudos on them. Nobody's bringing it up, at least after one game. What's up with LMA? What's going on with them? That wasn't asked, but as that trade deadline gets closer, you should expect questions like that to be asked about Popovich moving forward. So I would hope they make this quick. Just Band-Aid it, just rip it off. If he's going to go to LA, fine. If he's going to go to Dallas, fine. If he's going to go back to Portland, great. Just get this over with so they can just move on. And the good news is, James, is they've proven since the bubble until this season, they're pretty good moving on without LMA. They're fine.
Whoa. You mentioned Dallas. Who are you eyeing in Dallas?
Sir. Oh, nobody. I'm just talking about the whole idea of getting
You've got somebody in mind.
Available.
You've got somebody in mind. Who are you eyeing, Jeff? Who on Dallas's roster is giving you the hard eyes?
The hard eyes. Well, outside of Boban, Boban gives everybody the hard eyes. But I like their swing guys. Man. I really like their swing guys.
It's not the same guy giving you hard eyes that is giving Pop hard eyes?
And who would that be?
Oh, you know exactly who it is. Pop has him a thing for foreign guys.
It ain't gonna happen. See, now you're giving my hopes up yet. If you're thinking of big old KP.
Well, KP is rumored to be on the trade mill, Jeff.
Yeah. I've been dying for him to be a Spurs since his New York Knicks days, and there was that whole, hey, Spurs, we don't like the way you allegedly dealt with him when he was a Knick still, and that whole back and forth to New York. But my goodness, KP, what a get for San Antonio if that were to happen. Multi-purpose guy, big man, hit the three, big, long, but man, he's Mr. Glass, man. That's the one thing that worries me.
And we just got a really good look at not just him, but Vucevic as well.
Yeah. I mean, does Dallas, I know what LMA, he's from the Dallas area, so there's that. I bet he would love to go back to Dallas. But I don't see Dallas pulling the trigger on that. You give up KP in some sort of deal package for LMA, I just don't see it. Would that be a downgrade for Dallas?
Kristaps Porzingis?
No. Dallas getting LMA.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That'd be a downgrade, and I just don't see it happening. But as much as he has my love eyes, and him wearing a Spurs uniform, I just don't see it at all. This is where it goes back to the whole situation. You're just not going to get a haul for LMA. You're not going to get that level of a deal for him. Spurs fans got to stop thinking that that's going to happen.
You're not going to get a deal, Jeff, but as John Dyer on Twitter comments, where does Lamarcus Aldridge rank on the greatest Spurs list?
The greatest Spurs list? I mean, not up there with your Timmies and D-Robs and
Okay.
Icemans.
Where is he ranked?
Bottom, lower 10.
Wow.
You got James Silas,
10?
Captain Late, Bruce Bowen. You got your big three. You got that guy, Kawhi Leonard. He's still there,
Yeah.
Sean Elliott. Mike Mitchell's. You got a lot of solid guys that have been forgotten. And I would definitely, outside of the court, if you just put that aside, you got Alvin Robertson. You got a lot of good Spurs that have been forgotten with time. But LMA's in that bottom 10. Seriously, people, go to the YouTube page right now. You need to go to the YouTube page. You have to.
For what? What's going on?
You just rammed into the freaking microphone right now.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't run into the microphone all the time. You're running into the microphone. What's going on here?
But no, I definitely rank them a top 10, but not at your 5s or your 6. I would say maybe 10. 10.
I would, if I'm ranking Lamarcus, and I thank John Dyer for this question. 6-ish? Like, he's right in that area. He's on the cusp of the top 5, right?
He's in it.
You've got Gervin. You've got the big three, obviously. You've got Kawhi. That's 5.
That's 5. Okay, then here's where it gets tricky.
Duncan?
Which you throwing David in the top 5, right?
David, yeah, he's top 5. So that gives us 6 now. But
So
after
then
that, you say Sean, and I get it.
Alvin Robertson.
Sure, Silas, whatever.
Have you not seen Alvin Robertson's numbers and what he did as a Spur? It's incredible what he did. You put Bruce Bowen up there?
Do you? The original 12?
I think you kind of have to, man.
Why? Because his numbers in the rafters? Because he's on TV?
Because of what he did in that uniform. He was during that Spurs dynasty run, he was considered kind of like that fifth Beatle, if you will.
Sure.
If it wasn't for him knocking those threes down against the Lakers, Kobe torched San Antonio no matter who was on him, but he did his best versus Kobe. And I just think that he did a lot, during that dynasty run that doesn't get appreciated as much.
I think Lamarcus has done a lot that's not being appreciated right now. The dude's averaged basically 20 and 10 throughout his Spurs career, right?
Mm-hmm.
He chose the Spurs. He's the lone free agent that's done that, right?
Yeah.
Not a regular dude that, is coming at the end of his career like Michael Finley or whatever to just kind of fill out the back half of a championship roster. He was actually a dude that was like, all right, I choose you. He was an upper echelon dude.
Did he have much of a choice, though? We saw the Lakers, they screwed up their pitch with him.
Sure.
I don't know what happened with Phoenix. I think it was Phoenix on the table when he was a free agent.
Phoenix was definitely on the table.
Yeah. And then he chose San Antonio. At that time, San Antonio was the attractive spot over the two. Maybe if LA just did a better job, but they had a young guy by the name of Kawhi. They had an up-and-coming guard by the name of DeJounte Murray. TD was still in uniform. Tony was still there. So, yeah, they were the better pick. So I think it was a no-brainer for him if you really boil it down.
Sure, but a dude looking to, finally test free agency, get his payday, and also, be the guy. Be the guy on the team. And he was that. He was a guy that showed up in big moments. This was a guy that halfway through part of what season was it? They were undefeated at home?
Was that he came in 2016 or 2015?
I want to say
2016. 16? Okay, well, You're absolutely right. I mean, and then when Kawhi had his issues with the team, I mean, LMA just shouldered this team to the playoffs, and he loved playing against the Thunder. That's for sure. If it was the Thunder on the schedule, you knew he was going to have a big game.
Who didn't love playing against the Thunder?
Yeah, and he had a bunch of great games. If you think that LMA, I mean, look, I think fans moving forward after this is all over and they'll look back at the LMA era, I think then they'll appreciate what he did. But right now, they just see all the young guys, how well they're doing in the mix and the numbers, this and that. I think fans are falling in love with that. But there'll be a time where fans look back at LMA and be like, you know what? He wasn't that bad.
What's the old adage? You don't want to be the guy that replaces the guy. You want to be the guy that replaces the guy that replaced the guy.
I mean, how do you follow Tim Duncan? I mean, how do you?
Exactly. I mean, that's the guy.
How do you do that? Yeah, that's a lot. But it's like who came after David Robinson, Nesterovich? I mean,
dude, come on. Come on. We all know who came after David Robinson. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. We all know it was Tim Duncan.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. There was that gap.
There was no gap. There was no gap. It was who came after David Robinson. It was Tim Duncan. Don't be that guy.
But my point is that I look at LMA's time in the San Antonio. It just looks like a victim of circumstances. Just things just happening that just going against them.
One after
another. You got the Kawhi debacle. You still have that playing next to Tim Duncan time. Then you have the changing of the guard and the style of the NBA, just coming at him all at once. And the idea was he was supposed to be paired with this kid by the name of Kawhi Leonard, who was up and coming, and that's going to be a great 1-2 punch. The Spurs' big two, that'll be the next one. And then it just didn't pan out. Then good old Father Time starts creeping up and knocking on your door and saying, you know what, maybe you can't keep up with these young guys anymore.
656 ESPN 656-3776 on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. He of Jeff Garcia of News for San Antonio and the Locked On Spurs podcast. I am James Pledger at I Am Pledger. Coming up next, what would you do? What would you do if you were Deshaun Watson? How is the best way to get out of a situation that you're not very fond of? We'll talk about next right here on the Saturday Morning Hangover on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Your silver and black game nights start here.
Hi, this is DeJounte Murray of the San Antonio Spurs.
Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is Matt Bonner, a.k.a. the Red Rocket, a.k.a. the Red Mamba, a.k.a. the Sandwich Hunter.
30 minutes before every game night on the Blitz, we give you an in-depth look at your silver and black.
1250
ESPN San Antonio.
94.5 FM.
And on the go at ESPNSA.com. ESPNSA.com.
O'Reilly. This is Jesse's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
As a nurse, not making it to work was not an option. But driving through the snow with my wiper blades struggling, I just didn't feel safe. So I pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts, and before I knew it, an employee was offering to install the wiper blades on my car. I got to stay out of the snow for a moment, and I still made it to work on time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's no part of our bodies that put in more work than our feet. And with all that work, your feet can start to ache. But luckily, there's relief for our overworked feet. Skechers Arch Fit footwear for men and women. Skechers teamed up with podiatrists to design a shoe that provides total foot and arch support for all-day comfort. They used 20 years of data and over 120,000 unweighted foot scans to create a podiatrist-certified insole that distributes support across the arch no matter what foot type you have. And with all that support comes extreme comfort. Skechers are the fit and comfort specialists, and Arch Fit shoes from Skechers provide expert comfort whether walking or just standing. They're so comfortable, they're not just for people with tired, achy feet. Everybody can enjoy just how amazing they feel. Plus, many are machine washable. So even though you'll be wearing them all day, every day, you can easily keep them looking new. So give yourself some soothing comfort and support with podiatrist-certified Skechers Arch Fit footwear. Your overworked feet will thank you. See all the styles of Arch Fit footwear for men and women at Skechers.com, the Skechers store near you, or wherever stylish shoes are sold.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business and powered by Intel Core processors. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more. All with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Again, that's 877-ASK-DELL.
First comes love. Then comes sparkle. And that's where Diamonds Direct comes in. Engagement ring shopping is so easy at Diamonds Direct. Step 1, choose your perfect diamond. At Diamonds Direct, you get access to one of the largest selections of certified diamonds in America, straight from the diamond cutters. Every shape, every size, everyone handpicked for brilliance. Step 2, choose your setting. Something unique, something that fits your style, your personality. Solitaire, halo, 3-stone, pave, channel set. And don't worry if you've seen it on Pinterest, we have it. From all the top designers and bridal jewelry. Step 3, relax. Your Diamonds Direct engagement ring comes with a free lifetime warranty. That's no charge ever for sizing, cleaning, and routine maintenance. And at every step along the way, you'll be treated with respect, with zero pressure, by experts whose only goal is to make you happy. So you'll be all set for step 4, the most important one. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
Welcome back into the Saturday Morning Hangover right here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. I am James Pudger. I am joined by my friend, not Jack Thompson, who is taking his second consecutive day off work on the Saturday Morning Hangover.
Jack owes me one, too.
He does.
No, look at me. Filling in for him on a Saturday morning. I could be outside going for a jog or maybe hitting the weights.
Dedicating 2 hours of your life to this.
You know,
and right now that feels like 12 hours. Because
for you it does.
What?
For me,
no, I'm fine.
For you it definitely does.
I'm fine. What? No, I'm fine. Why would you say that? I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Let me drink some more water.
You sure that's just water there? You know, are we really 100% sure that's just water in that bottle?
Well, you know the way they say, the best way they say to get over it. Huh? What was that? Huh? What did you say? You know the best way they say to get over a hangover, right?
Look, I know we're supposed to be talking sports here, and I know we're going to be talking about Texans right now, but I just got to get this out of my system right now. This was, if you just missed it, this was James Pledger just a few seconds ago.
Huh? What? Why would you do that?
I don't speak drunk. I don't. I used to back when I was younger.
That's a lie.
That's true. Yeah, I know. That's a big lie. Yeah.
New Yorker.
You know what else I think is lying to themselves? The Texans right now.
It feels like it, right, Jeff?
It feels like they don't want to just see the writing on the wall. Like
they commit.
Your girlfriend wants to break up with you.
They commit to having a strong front, whether it's David Culley or Nick Caserio or Cal McNair, the owner. Like they've all been all out. Sean's our quarterback. We're not trading him. Reports are they're hanging up on people even calling to inquire about Deshaun.
Dummies. I mean,
at what point of that is that not at least doing your due diligence to find out if what someone's offering for them, right?
Well, they're not. Yeah, they're not doing the due diligence at all. I mean, because look, as we mentioned as I was talking to you during the break, training camp's going to show up one day. That's going to happen, and then they're going to have that cloud hanging over them of constantly being asked what's going on with Deshaun if he's not back, obviously. What's going on with Deshaun? Who's your quarterback? So Deshaun said, I mean, look, this could turn into something a lot bigger as camp nears. And if you're the Texans, hey, you're right. You got to do your due diligence. Pick up the calls. Who knows? Somebody could be giving you a Herschel Walker type deal for him.
Exactly.
And you pulled the trigger on that. I mean, this is your team. Let's educate us. What is going on? Why don't they want to do that? Or is it just simply a pride issue at this point?
I think there's a couple issues here. One of them is, remember when the Cowboys did the deal with Zeke Elliott early?
Yeah.
Before they really kind of had to.
Mm-hmm.
He was sitting out training camp. The holdout was heading into the season at Oxnard, and Jerry buckled and finally paid him. Well, that precedence was set the year before by the Los Angeles Rams by caving and paying Todd Gurley early on his rookie deal, right?
Okay.
So I can see the Texans looking at it as, we don't want to set this precedence. We don't want this to be, and I can see other teams around the league being like, don't set this precedence. Don't give the quarterbacks these powers, because then if you give the quarterback that kind of power, all of a sudden you're looking at the NBA when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL. In terms of roster construction, in terms of what's going on, in terms of where they want to be happy, playing with other people. All of a sudden it turns into the NBA and I want to go play with my friends, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And right now I believe it's not, I mean, is it still safe to say it's not a players league in the NFL? It's still the owners and management that really have the control, unlike the NBA where we know it's a players league. I mean, you go down that road and as you mentioned, it turns into the NBA out in the NFL, but it just feels, this whole situation just feels like your girlfriend wants to break up with you and you're like, no, I don't want to break up. No. Who said we break up? I break up when I say we break up. I mean, that's what it comes down to, but I think this is really going to bite the Texans down the road. Because however the situation gets resolved, whether, he's traded or he stays or, whatever. I mean, other teams and players got to be looking at this and being like, yeah, do we really want to go to a Houston team where look how they treated their generational player? Do I want to go to that? I mean, this can have some serious ripple effects down the road, James.
Exactly. And that's a tough thing to come back from, is looking at the Texans as an organization and being like, why does he want to go? And why would I want to be a part of that? Because everything that you listen to in the media is bad about Houston. Although there are players that still want to end up there, apparently. David Culley brought in former running back from Baltimore, Mark Ingram, 1-year deal. You look at linebacker Christian Kirksey, who I'm a huge fan of, signed the other day with the Houston Texans. I mean, they've had a couple of decently named free agents that were just recently cut by teams.
But that's good and all, but what does it matter if your main guy's not there and the engine can't go? It's great. Get that guy. Bring him in. Yay. But, yeah, you're still going to have a losing record. You're still going to have a losing team because your Watson guy there, your QB, just having some issues. So, I mean, it's good if they just want to get some money, fine. But James, I just think that this is going to end really.
Oh, he already got
badly.
the money.
Oh, that's right. He did get the money. You're right. You're absolutely right.
He got paid about 5 months ago.
That extension, I forgot about the extension. Yes. How does this end? How do you see this coming to an end?
Unfortunately, not well. Not well. It depends if they're putting up a strong face to continue to drive up the price, or if they're putting on a strong face because they don't want to be the team that kind of gives the quarterbacks these powers in this thing. Either way, it ends up bad.
Do you feel that that's what the NFL is starting to shift to, though? I see it starting to happen little by little.
Oh,
it's becoming a players' league.
100%. Yeah,
you're starting to see it, and I think Watson would be that domino that just pushes everything down that path.
100% he would be that domino, and it's not just because he's a quarterback or not just because he's a franchise quarterback. It's because he literally signed his deal 5 months ago and is forcing his way out after signing.
They're going to have to fix this fast. And my thing is that if you're a Texan fan, and well, just in general, I mean, how do you? I mean, imagine if the Spurs did this to Duncan, or if Giannis got this treatment during his period of time before he signed this.
If the Spurs did this to Duncan, how would they handle it?
Well, they would handle it a lot differently than Houston is right now. I mean, I think they would have done what they're doing there right now. We're seeing with LMA. Just, hey, it ain't working out. We're going to try to find you the best spot. And maybe that's what Houston needs to do. Maybe Houston just needs to, you know what? Okay, this is not working out. We'll find you the best deal for both of us, Deshaun, Texans, and we'll move on from there. And believe it, look, and I think they will get a haul. If Houston does bite the bullet and say, okay, this is not going to work, you already said it right now, the phone calls are lighting up in Houston. I mean, they would triple, maybe quadruple. And this Houston team could be, dare I say, on a better path than they are right now, James?
It's hard to say you're on a better path without a franchise quarterback. But, yeah, I mean, this is a team with very limited draft capital heading into the season. And they could set their future up for possibly getting a quarterback on a rookie deal, possibly adding a whole bunch of draft picks, and winning when you have players on rookie contracts is kind of a big part of the NFL.
And that's what you're looking at. If you're the GM for Houston right now, you're flipping them for just draft capital, or do you want established names right now?
I want draft capital. I want guys on young, cheap rookie deals if I'm Nick Caserio. But I'm not Nick Caserio, and the Texans are handling this the way they're handling it, and that just means none of us really know what's going on inside those walls out at NRG Stadium. He is Jeff Garcia. I am James Pledger. You can follow us on Twitter. He is at Jeff G Spurs Zone. I am at I am Pledger. When we come back, cap no cap. I'm gonna find out if Jeff even knows what that means. Right here on the Saturday Morning Hangover, right here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Is San Antonio a playoff team this year?
Are we this good? Or is this, fool's gold? The rest of the league, we're going to scout it, and the true Spurs will begin to show up.
While we talk a lot about the young guys, we're better when Lamarcus is there. We're better when DeMar is there. Rudy Gay, Patty Mills, those veteran guys, and it is a pretty good mix.
The Blitz, weekdays 4 to 7, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Why so serious? So raise your glass if you are wrong in all the right ways.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the Quicker Picker-Upper. Bounty picks up spills and messes quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading value brand. So you can get back to the party. Bounty, the Quicker Picker-Upper.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. You stop running because your feet always hurt. That's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
If you're a bacon lover, I've got great news for you. This is Michael Kilbasa with Kilbasa Smoked Meats. Our authentic dry-cured bacon is now available at grocery stores near you. We make it the old-fashioned way with the finest pork bellies in our legendary spice blend. We don't pump it full of water or chemicals like other brands. All you get is thick, savory slices of delicious bacon. I hope you'll give it a try, and if it's not the best bacon you've ever eaten, I'll give you your money back. Kilbasa Smoked Meats, slow crafted in Texas since 1949.
We're going to open things up.
I just want a quick conversation about spread.
Let's get you some money. Hypothetically speaking, of course.
Spread's near and dear to me.
It's time to spread it out.
Spread things around.
Time to find out
That
who's
wasn't
telling
it.
the truth and who isn't. It's time for Cap.
I'm the biggest fan of all. Who capping?
No Cap.
It's pretty much just a form of telling the truth. No cap means no lie, for real.
All right, Jeff, you're new to this. I'm James Pledger. Jeff Garcia filling in for Jack Thompson today. That makes sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, you know what? You're coming out of your haze, so I see it little by little. You're getting better.
I'm not. It's fine.
Okay, there we go. Never mind. Moving on.
Stop. I'm not. It's fine. But cap, no cap. Did that make sense?
You know,
like someone's.
I know
and
you
you're in the
I know
NBA. You're in the NBA.
I know, so yeah.
You got to know this.
That took, I gotta be honest with everybody. I know, James, you and I are about the same age, but it took me forever to realize what that meant because I'm from the old school meaning of the word cap. For those of y'all who know, yeah, I don't want to say it because I don't want to promote that, but for those of y'all born in the 80s and 90s, that's what I thought it as. I took it as that, but apparently it meant lie or no lie. So if we just keep it in that framework, I think I'll be able to handle it.
Well, cap is a lie. No cap means no lie.
I feel like I should write this down.
You should.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I got to get you caught up on popular vernacular with the NBA right now. Because you're going to have to deal with this where Lonnie Walker is going to be like, man, I'm so fed up, no cap. And you're going to be like, which one is that?
Yeah, on Twitter, I probably put out there, like, apparently Lonnie Walker wants to wear a cap. He's not wearing a hat right now, so.
So, no cap, no lie. Cap, total lie. The San Antonio Spurs are heading into the May 25th deadline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will Lamarcus Aldridge be traded by the March 25th trade deadline? Cap, no cap. He will be traded by the March 25th trade deadline.
I'm going to say cap. That this probably ends out in a buyout.
Oh, no, Jeff. Why would you crush all of our hopes and dreams like that?
I just feel that that's the route it's going. They don't want, San Antonio is probably going to ask for a little bit more than maybe what LMA's on the market worth. And I just think this will come out to a buyout in the end, which is still a good thing. I mean, you're still saving money. You're preserving that financial cap this summer. It's not like you have to eat any contracts coming back. So I see it as a light win-win situation. You trade them, good. You let them go, fine. You preserve your big financial money you got this summer.
Okay, you just said win-win. And my question is it truly a win-win? If the Spurs buy out Lamarcus Aldridge, is that a win for the Spurs? Cap, no cap?
Wait, I got to look at my notes again. Cap equal lie, no cap equal no lie. Okay.
There you go.
No.
Check the clip notes.
You check the clip notes. Okay, no cap. That's not a lie. It's still a win-win. Right? Did I say it right? Kid, did I say that right? No cap?
Do you truly believe that?
Win. Because you got to wonder if teams are going to be saying, okay, we'll take LMA off your hands, but we got some contracts we want to dump. So, take them back. But, look, it's not like the Spurs, are going to give up DeJounte or your guy, Derek. I don't think so, or Devin Vassell.
Why not?
So, they believe in this youth movement. They really, I think San Antonio and the GM and the staff really believe that this team, as constructed, could turn into something special down the road. They're exceeding expectations right now, James. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, James disappeared. There's just this empty screen. Oh, he's back.
Oh, no, the computer came unplugged. I had to plug it back in.
Okay. For a minute there, James, I thought that your partying caught up to you there for a second. But no, I just think the team was really bought into the the team just bought into the youth movement, and they want to see where it's going, and I think they want to preserve that. I think you think about trading some of the guys maybe next season. I think that's where you entertain it after they see where this is going.
See, Jeff, I think that's cap. Like, if they buy him out at the trade deadline, as John Dyer on Twitter points out, or on Facebook Live points out, if we do a buyout, he could end up somewhere that will hurt us in the playoffs. That's absolutely
that goes back
true.
to my point. That goes back to my point earlier. Okay, fine. Yeah, that is true. But if that other team that could hurt you in the playoffs was giving you a better deal than anybody else,
no, we're talking about a buyout, though, at this point.
Okay. Well, then in that case, yeah. I mean,
I don't care where he ends up, like, if you're traded, because you're getting something in return. But if you buy him out, not only does he possibly end up somewhere he could hurt you, but you're getting nothing in return. At least if you trade him, you're getting something, no matter what it is, even if it's second-round pick. And we know what the Spurs do with second-round picks.
Oh, yeah.
Trey Jones looks pretty good this
do.
year. Manu Ginobili turned into something. Like, the Spurs are pretty well versed with their second round draft picks, right, Jeff?
Remember James Anderson?
Hey!
That just popped in my head right now. Whoever thought you were going to get a James Anderson reference on this Saturday morning in San Antonio? But nevertheless, no, they definitely do make good out of the second round.
He is Jeff Garcia. You can follow him on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Filling in for Jack Thompson today. I am James Pledger. When we come back, we're going to get into the Dallas Cowboys and if Dak Prescott's deal will end up hurting the Cowboys. Could it? Could this Dallas Cowboys be in trouble because of the Dak Prescott contract? We'll talk about it next right here on the Saturday Morning Hangover on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
O'Reilly. This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Most of us don't think about our brakes until we need to think about our brakes. Jason Minix here for newbrakes.com, nubrakes.com. They are a mobile brake shop. They will come to you to fix your brakes. We all like things to be easy and convenient, and New Brakes has done that with brake repair. They will come to your home or office or wherever you are. Busy work schedule, no problem. Relaxing at the house, no worries. New Brakes comes to you, and they will repair your brakes while you do whatever it is you do. At New Brakes, they only fix brakes. New Brakes provides convenient and affordable brake repairs without the normal upsells traditional repair shops love to give you once your car is up on the lift. Most repairs are done in less than an hour. New Brakes uses premium brake parts, and they back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go read all the 5-star reviews. If your brakes are squeaking or grinding, go to newbrakes.com and schedule your repair. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN. Newbrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com. Looking for a protein-packed snack to power you through the day? Of course you are. Only Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors that stand out in the Me Too snack aisle. Sea salt and cracked black pepper, pineapple ancho chili, pasilla chili cheese, and more. Take your snacking to higher flavor levels with Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. And keto fans, you're going to love this low-carb crunch. Visit your local H-E-B and southernrecipesmallbatch.com to see the power of the rind.
Hi, I'm Heisman Trophy winner Danny Warfel. In 2011, I was sidelined by a rare condition called Guillain-Barré syndrome that left me weak and unable to move for months. We know Zika can have devastating effects on pregnancy, including severe birth defects. But did you know Zika can also cause Guillain-Barré syndrome? The good news is there are simple steps you can take to protect yourself, your community, and the next generation from Zika. Learn more at cdc.gov/ESPN
San Antonio, 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. Online at ESPNSA.com. All day, every day. KZDC San Antonio.
This is SportsCenter.
James Pledger, Jack Thompson. The Saturday Morning Hangover.
Antonio! Welcome into the Saturday Morning Hangover right here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. I am James Pledger, and I am not joined by Jack Thompson, who has decided to stand me up for the second consecutive week. But instead, I've called him my man, Jeff G. That's right,
Yes,
Jeff Garcia at Jeff
Yes,
G
sir.
Spurs Zone. He is Spurs Zone on News 4 San Antonio and the Locked On Spurs Podcast Network. He is your man for everything Spurs. Jeff, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Not a problem, buddy. And thank you for always being that frequent, faithful guest on Locked On Spurs. And by the way, everybody, every time I have James on Locked On Spurs pre-recording, I think he just twiddles his fingers together like Mr. Burns on The Simpsons and says, excellent, because you love riling up the Spurs fan base, don't you? Excellent.
No, I don't love to rile them up. I like to tell you what I believe is in the best possible interest of the Spurs. Point blank, end of story, right?
James will be on Locked On Spurs sometime next week, so I'm pretty sure he'll think of something to tick off Spurs fans and rile them up, as always.
Because I'll admit I'm slowly coming around on Sandwich.
You know, I know we're going to talk Cowboys, but or should I say this question for later? Has your opinion of him, Samich that is, turned so much where maybe you might be a little hesitant to deal him?
That is a great tease. Jeff Garcia, Spurs Zone, joining us here on the Saturday Morning Hangover. And you brought it up. We're talking about Dak Prescott in this segment. And
yes, sir.
Dak got paid. And keeping up with our last segment, cap or no cap, in terms of, keeping you young, keeping you hip.
Gotta look at my notes again.
Oh, no. I'm not going to ask you a cap or no cap question. I'm just saying, keeping, up with the new modern vernacular. Dak got the bag.
That he did. Now, if he doesn't want his stimmy, I'll take it. He doesn't need
his stimmy?
I don't think he needs it. He can just pass it on over here, or maybe split it between you and me, James. I think
I'll split it.
Fair.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be greedy. I'll take what I can get because Dak, $160 million over 4 years, 122 guaranteed, or 126 guaranteed. I'm sorry, and 66 at signing. Both of those last two are NFL records.
I mean, look, he's 27 years old. He's still young. He's like not even close to his prime years yet. Do you worry a little bit of how he's going to come off? Well, at least coming into next season, coming off a major injury the way he did. Does that kind of hold your breath a little bit, or you're okay?
No, it's fine. It's a broken ankle. I mean,
all right.
It's simple enough procedure to come back from right now. It's not as intrusive as what Alex Smith had to go through to come back from his injury. And Alex Smith came back, and they should just rename the NFL Comeback Player of the Year the Alex Smith Award now, because what he came back from is incredible, right?
Yeah, he definitely did. And with Dak back, you got to think that on the offensive end, every position player on that side of the field is just so happy right now, because everybody suffered when Dak got hurt and it was out for the season. Everybody suffered. You saw it. The numbers showed it. The records showed it. The Cowboys, that is, just did not look good. And now you have yourself a competitive offense to be up there and be fighting against some of the big boys out in the NFC, let alone the NFL. But I mean, you got them locked up for the next 4 years. It's full speed ahead. You got to be happy you're a Cowboys fan, and they just got to navigate the waters ahead the right way. Zeke is there, Dak is there, You just got to continue building great around those two players. And I think they are doing that. And I think eventually Dallas will be in a position to really be a legit title threat.
Now, the thing is, and they're at least the title threat in the NFC East because even with Dak in the fold, he is obviously the best quarterback in that division. There's not even close. It's not Jalen Hurts. It's not Daniel Jones. It is not whoever Washington decides to trot out there at quarterback right now.
We actually have a comment on social media about the whole Dak Dallas thing right now. This is from Frank M. Botello. He says, you can't pay Dak and an O-line as Romo paid no ring. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and I see that coming up a lot right now because in wake of Tom Brady restructuring his deal, extending it out, creating some more cap room for Tampa Bay in terms of Patrick Mahomes 1 year into his new record-setting 10-year, $250 million. Yeah, that's right. $250 million is what Patrick Mahomes got paid. On the heels of that, 1 year into it, he's already restructured his deal, creating a whole lot of cap space for them.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see exactly how this deal is structured in terms of, can they do that with that? Can they take a later year and convert signing bonus into regular money and create some cap space? Because if they can't, that's going to be an issue. And that's the main thing and takeaway I have from the Dak Prescott contract is, sure, it opened up 22.5 this year when he was going to count 37.7. But unlike the NBA, this is a hard cap. And there are ways to finagle around it. Did the Cowboys with this 4-year deal leave themselves that? The ability to finagle themselves around the cap, especially with it shorter this year. And even if it increases 20%, it's only going back to what it was the year before. So they're still down in terms of cap money. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out over the next couple of years with the Dallas Cowboys.
And just looking at a simple statistic viewpoint with Dak back, or at least locked up for several years moving forward. When he went out, I believe Dallas was among the top scoring offenses with him. I think about 32, 33 points per game, and it plummeted to 21 without him. So, yeah, I mean, if you don't believe that maybe he's worth that payday, well, then you just saw some numbers right there.
I get it, Jeff. But here's the one thing I will say with those numbers, because they're brought up ad nauseum as Dak was leading the league in passing. Dak was doing this. Dak was on record pace. Yes, Dak was on all of those things. But Dak was on all of those things mainly because in the second half, they were trailing by 2 scores already, and Dak had to play catch up. So, I mean, it's kind of like in the NBA when you're dealing with a team that is constantly having to come from behind. Are these numbers real, or are they a product of this team got up big and took their foot off the brake?
I hear that, but I also hear the fact that, hey, if he's still putting up those numbers despite being down, I mean, that just shows to his value that he can will a team back from a deficit, that he is that quarterback that can get you out of a hole. And I think there's your argument of, okay, was it really a product of just the Cowboys just being down? Well, okay, fine. Yeah, maybe it is. But then you like the fact that he can do what he did and rally and lead a team and get a W if it's possible for Dallas. So I think it goes both ways.
It does go both ways, but you wonder which one's like the overarching factor of that. Is it the fact that Dak can lead his team back from victory? Because remember, they still only have 1 win when he got hurt.
That's true. Yeah.
So while he can rally them back, can he rally them all the way back? Or is this just going to be a product of Dak was on a rookie deal at that point and they couldn't put anything around him to help the defense? What are they going to do now that they're paying Dak all this money, and how will they put a team around him?
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to ask you that. So you got Zeke done, Dak, done.
Oh,
Now
Zeke's
what
the
for
worst contract in the world.
Yeah.
Zeke,
But
here's the issue, and I brought up in the first hour with the Texans in regards to the Todd Gurley deal. And I don't think the Los Angeles Rams get enough blame for what they did with Todd Gurley because it set the precedence of running backs holding out and getting money before the fifth-year option. Because in all likelihood, a running back, and as callous and as horrible as this sounds, you shouldn't pay him a second contract. You should use up all 5 years of their rookie deal in terms of if they're a first round pick, and then you have two franchise tags, right?
Yep.
And so that gives you 7 years of a running back at his peak and prime. There is no reason to ever have to pay a running back market value. Yet these teams constantly continue to do it because running backs are so easy to find in the draft. It is probably the easiest position to find a home run for in the later rounds of the draft and not have to commit draft capital to. But the Cowboys, thanks to what the Rams did with Todd Gurley, who since then has been cut, released, signed with the Atlanta Falcons, and is already out of the Atlanta Falcons after 1 year. So paying a running back a huge contract is not a good idea in the NFL. And that was where the Cowboys messed up, was they paid Zeke and not Dak, because if they paid Dak, he would have the 5-year deal that the Cowboys like, not the 4-year deal that they struggled so much with this offseason. He would be making around 33 to 35 million probably, because that's what the market was back then, instead of over 40 million. And he would be a bargain in terms of what you're paying him right now. Instead, the Cowboys decided to kick this can down the road and pay a running back that they didn't have to pay, who still, they had their 5th-year option, 2 franchise tags in their back pocket, and they wouldn't have to worry about Zeke. And right now, we're all wondering the same thing. I believe that Zeke Elliott is past his prime. His numbers have steadily decreased each and every year in the NFL as terms as you look at it. You can blame the offensive line. You can blame the fact that Dak Prescott wasn't there. But if you look at it, it went from over 100 yards his rookie year to 98 yards his sophomore year to about 91 his third year. And then it falls off the cliff to about 80 something last year. And then this year was obviously Zeke's worst year in terms of production. Right. And I don't think it's coincidental that it was just the offensive line injuries or that it was just Dak Prescott. That's a position that takes a pounding.
We have a comment from Frank Embotello again on social media here on Twitter. It says, the Chiefs also cut 2 offensive linemen after restructuring the contract of Mahomes. So I guess he's saying there is still a way, I guess. You know, I guess that's what you're trying to tell us, Frank. But I hear you, and the numbers have been declining for Zach, and I think everybody knows that. But with Dak back, do you think maybe
they could take a spike this year because they were at an all-time low. They could see their way peak them back up, but it's going to be nothing like what peak Zeke was. John Dyer on Facebook Live says, I disagree. Colleges are producing top backs. It's hard to find them in the draft. Receivers are easy to find, though. Don't pay the wide receivers. I disagree. I think running backs are coming out. I mean, look at James Robinson. He was an undrafted free agent for the Jacksonville Jaguars this past year. He was a top back in the league. You look at the dude who took Zeke Elliott's job in Baltimore, the Ohio State running back, just usurped his job throughout the season, which led to them releasing Mark Ingram. And he is now the dude in Baltimore. I get what you're saying in terms of there aren't the elites of the elite, like the Christian McCaffrey or the Saquon Barkleys or the Zeke Elliott's coming out every year. But I'll tell you what, this crop this year, I'm all in on the running back crop this year, whether it is you look at Travis Etienne out of Clemson, or my favorite back in this draft, the Alabama running back, Najee Harris. There's a kid out of Buffalo, of all places, Jarrett Patterson, that I am intrigued with. There are the 2 kids out of North Carolina. I mean, there's going to be running backs in this draft. There's going to be running backs in every draft because running backs are so easily translatable. And if you look at whether it was Gary Kubiak or what Kyle Shanahan is doing now in San Francisco, or if you look at any of the Shanahan disciples like Matt LaFleur up in Green Bay, you find a back, you plug them in, you don't need to pay them. I guarantee you Green Bay isn't going to be paying Aaron Jones because he is going to go find greener pastures elsewhere, because in those zone systems that the Texans used to run, that the 49ers run now, in which they're able to find a Mostert or whoever they want to start at running back each and every year. Tevin Coleman doesn't matter. Or if you look at what's happening in Green Bay with Williams and Green and AJ Dillon, like running backs for days, man. You can find a running back in almost any round of the draft right now. You just have to find a guy that fits your system. And if you're running that zone system, those one cut and go backs, they're a dime a dozen.
I think it's safe to say you rallied from your haze.
Talking about the Cowboys really does that for me. Talking about Dak.
You really snapped out of it. Kudos to you.
So Joe Hernandez says on Facebook Live, so next year is Zeke's last season as a Cowboy. I don't have the contract numbers in front of me, but I do believe that Zeke's first year that you're able to get out of that deal is next year, in which you're not incurring dead money that is more than the cap hit that you would ensue. Because in the NFL world, Jeff, unlike the NBA where you can just buy people out or just cut them and I'm eating your salary, it doesn't matter, there's no ramifications for me, it doesn't matter. In the NFL, there are ramifications for cutting a guy when you pay him big money, because there is this thing called a dead cap hit that you must ensue. And if the dead cap hit is larger than your cap hit, cutting him costs you money, basically.
Wow. Well, there you go.
And there are certain times where a player's contract incurs less money than is the dead cap hit, and you can then incur a savings of some sort. But it's few and far between when you talk about players like that. So I think the fact that next year might be Zeke's last year in Dallas.
Is Dallas in a position now to really be a thing now with these pieces back? Well, at least Dak back.
They're a thing because the NFC East is super weak. We saw that this year with the NFC least, as it was called, for most of the season. And up until like the last week of the season, the Cowboys were still in a position to win the division. True. So with Dak back there, easily hands down the favorite to win that division. And they can even incur some different injuries throughout the season and survive. John Dyer says, plus paying a running back super cheap. Cooper makes way more than Zeke. I don't know about way more. They're both $100 million guys, so both of them are pretty expensive. I also see Cooper being a cap casualty in the near future for the Dallas Cowboys, unfortunately, for them, but it's one of those things. See, if it's Trevino, Zeke needs to go play in the FC. With Johnny Manziel and Josh Gordon. By the way, Josh Gordon is also in that fan-controlled football league with Johnny Manziel. It's going to be very interesting. Next year is Cooper's last season here. John Dyer says, I agree 100% because, yes, he has no dead cap after 2021. That makes sense, especially when Michael Gallup's contract is coming down the book. So you're either going to keep Amari Cooper on the contract you paid him or try to pay Michael Gallup, who I don't believe would fetch the exact same contract that Amari Cooper did. As a matter of fact, I think Michael Gallup, barring a ball out year this year, would fetch a little less than Amari Cooper, and that would leave Cooper out. And that would leave Gallup and CeeDee Lamb as your top two pass catchers moving forward, which I'm totally okay with them if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, because you got to start freeing up cap space somewhere.
The vibe I'm getting is that you mentioned the division. Obviously it's weak, and Dallas will be fine next season. But beyond the division, they're likely to make the playoffs. Can they make a significant run or no? I mean, it's still going to be one of the things to wait and see how they perform in that postseason if they do make it. And I think that's the litmus test what you're going to see next season.
And that question you asked, can they make a significant run?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next right here on the Saturday Morning Hangover on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. Look at that. Jeff Garcia making my job easy with these forward teases. We'll talk about that next right here on the Saturday Morning Hangover.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course, we have everything you need for that big brake job. Right now, you can save 15% when you buy any Duralast brake pads and any 2 Duralast rotors. It's a great way to save while you take on the full job. Oh, and one tip. Go for a nice, easy drive after you finish the job. It'll help break in your new brakes. For more tips, visit AutoZone.com/DIY. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Progressive Motorcycle presents Road Wisdom from the Motor. If you missed a turn, there's always another turn. Take it to get back to the turn you missed. Use your turn. Progressive Motorcycle also presents Roadside Assistance. Progressive Motorcycle, for those who were born to ride. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped. Childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to The Cat Show. Up next, we have Nico. Nico is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right. A group known especially for their sunspot sleeping, ball chasing, leg rubbing, and of course, companionship. Just look how she struts.
It's like she owns the place.
And see how she curls up and cuddles her person.
The pitch on her purring is simply perfect.
Nice one.
Fantastic cat. But really the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Nico is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back into the Saturday Morning Hangover right here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. Jeff Garcia, you know him, you love him, as he likes to introduce me. Spurs Zone, Locked On Spurs podcast, Spurs Zone at News 4.
Sir.
You can follow all his work at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. He is a great follow, especially if you are trying to follow the San Antonio Spurs.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you get everything you need to know about the silver and black over at the Spurs Zone, of course, and Locked On Spurs. James is quite the frequent guest there.
Me?
Locked On Spurs.
No.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You know what? When every time something hot pops up, I get a message from James like, "I'm going to be on Locked On Spurs, right?" I'm like, yeah, "You're going to be on. You're going to be on Locked On Spurs. Don't worry, you're going to come on." But especially, yeah, you came on when the LMA news broke. So kudos.
That was not
you,
by me reaching out, though. That was
yeah,
not.
that's true. Yeah, I reached out to you. Yeah, because I figured, yeah, James would have to say about this situation.
And we're gonna double dip that day because I already had a Locked On Spurs that day with the Vucevic stuff going down.
Yeah, and then you had the LMA thing at the last second. But no, it's always good to have James on Locked On Spurs. And make sure to subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcast. But making James' life easier here on Saturday Morning Hangover. So we talked about Cowboys playoffs. Yeah. What's going on with them Cowboys in playoffs? You think it's
them Cowboys in them playoffs? That's going to be a thing. But, and John, we are getting I'm trying to beat the over. I'm trying to beat the over, and I did because we were going to nerd out way too early in the show, but we are going to get Jeff G's thoughts because we are far enough away from the final episode to talk about WandaVision in its entirety amongst ourselves. We're going to do that coming up next. I also got a call during the break that you're going to love.
Uh-oh. This is going to be fun.
Would you put Speedy Claxton above Lamarcus Aldridge in the Spurs lineage of hierarchy of importance?
Hey, let me think
No,
about that.
that's a tease. That's a tease. But
that's a tease. Okay.
But as we look at the Dallas Cowboys, and you asked, can they make a significant run with Dak Prescott now back in the fold? Yes. I mean, I believe they can make a significant run. The question becomes, how good is Dan Quinn going to be as the new defensive coordinator? Because that defense was knife through butter, hot knife through butter, by the way, garbage last year. I mean, people were carving them up and down. They started to get better towards the end of the season, but you got a whole new defensive coordinator, a whole new philosophy. Are they going to spend any money in free agency on positions of need? Like, I don't know, safety, or invest any draft capital outside of a 6th round pick on, I don't know, a safety or the secondary? Or are they going to keep addressing the offense and get an offensive tackle and wide receivers and tight ends and things that they don't need, but they're the shiny toys that Jerry Jones sees and likes in the draft room?
Yeah, and I asked that question, right before the break, is because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, great. I mean, I know Zeke, it is what it is, his deal and everything, but he's still there. He's serviceable. Okay, and you got Dak back, and you get all those weapons around him.
And I get it. Your offensive line was decimated last year with injuries.
Thank you.
That's a one-off. You can't expect injuries to decimate an entire offensive line again. You just can't. I mean, you can invest draft capital in the draft later to help maybe supplement that. But I also thought, as those guys played together throughout the year, I thought the offensive line, once they got cohesion, kind of playing together and multiple guys playing the same big position multiple weeks in a row, which they didn't get to do early in the season. Once that cohesion started to happen, they started playing better as the season went on.
Should Cowboys fans have their expectations up high or middle or low next season?
I think they should be high. I mean, we're going to have to see where things go with the draft and with free agency this year, but I like what they have on offense. They can score with anyone. My question remains on defense. And last year, Jalen Smith regressed horribly as a linebacker, and their cornerbacks were hot garbage. John Dyer on Facebook says Cowboys have 4 picks within the top 100. They got to use them all on D. I get it. I get that feeling, John, and I agree with you. I think personally, scouting the safeties I have this year, I think Richie Grant in the 2nd or 3rd round would be such a steal for the Cowboys. He is a safety out of UCF, and the Cowboys have not put in draft capital into the secondary the way they should, and not just the secondary, but the secondary position. They haven't spent money on it in free agency. They haven't spent money on it within the team, and they haven't invested draft capital in it. I think that needs to change. You need to start investing where you're weakest. And one of the staples, if you're bringing Dan Quinn, who is the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator and head coach, and he was also the defensive coordinator that took over for Gus Bradley in Seattle with the Legion of Boom. One of the things that Seattle and Atlanta tried to do was that cover 3 defense. And if you're going to play that cover 3 defense, you need a safety that can cover sideline to sideline in the middle of the field and make plays on the ball, which is something the Cowboys don't have in their bag right now. But I think Richie Grant, the cornerback out of UCF, man, he has those kind of tools to where he can be that Earl Thomas type player on the back end for them. And all you got to do is let Donovan Wilson or whoever you want to play the strong safety be that Cam Chancellor in the box thumper.
You mentioned this in the other break. I'm sorry, the other segment about Zeke on the decline. The numbers show it. Everybody sees it. Okay, fine. And we got John Dyer mentioning about drafting on the O-line, but I mean,
they created depth this year in the O-line, which is what he's saying. And I also believe that with Terrence Steele and Terrence Knight, they created a whole bunch of depth on the offensive line this year by forcing those guys into positions that they weren't supposed to be in, having them start and then letting them get that cohesion throughout the year. I think their offensive line depth is fine. Personally.
So still, okay, fine. If you're saying that the old depth is fine and everything's good to go and yay, Cowboys, we're back. Again, is this team built and is good enough to really make a run at the title?
And Joe Hernandez asked a very interesting question on Facebook Live. Joe, thank you. He asked me, speaking of the Legion of Boom, because that's where Dan Quinn, the new defensive coordinator, cut his teeth, basically, was in Seattle with the old Legion of Boom defense. And when they were winning Super Bowls, and you had Cam Chancellor and Old Thomas and Richard Sherman, and that defense was awesome. And they had extremely quick sideline to sideline type linebackers, KJ Wright and all them. Yeah, they were awesome. And you've got the linebackers kind of in place. Leighton Vander Esch can go sideline to sideline if he's healthy. I think if you're playing him sideline to sideline and not as a pass rusher, I think Jalen Smith can be okay in that capacity, as far as it is just rallying to the ball and making tackles, which is what you're asked to do in that cover 3 defense. But the Legion of Boom, the question Joe Hernandez asks, is Earl Thomas a possibility still, or would we even want him after a year away? That is an interesting question, because he is sitting out there in free agency. He is available. He does know the system, and he's made it known that he would like to be a Dallas Cowboy before. I don't think he's washed up. I think legal issues and TMZ videos and stuff of Earl Thomas and his wife and all these other, and his brother. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about with Earl Thomas and his brother and TMZ, just go ahead and look that up. It happened in Austin, and it's extremely weird. And there's some Eskimo brother vibes going on there. If you catch what I'm throwing down, Jeff.
Uh-oh. Do I want to look at this?
Yeah, I think you do. Right. Because it's not a video of the actual act. It just kind of represents what happened. But that kept him out of the NFL last year, I think.
Yeah.
So John Dyer says, don't look it up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know where to go with that after this reference. But my point is, if
you know what an Eskimo brother is, right?
I don't want to. Well, A, I think I have an idea what it is, and B, I don't want to confirm it if I go look it up. But. I mean, fine, TMZ videos, Eskimo stuff, blah, 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 Austin, yeah. But
you can get them on the cheap now, which is something that Jerry loves.
Thank you. Yes, you read my mind. You got Jerry Jones there, and he is still willing to pull the trigger on a player of that caliber, and off the field, be damned. It's still Earl. You want him on your squad.
And I think, Joe, thank you for thinking of this, because I should have thought about it long ago, but it has been absent my mind. Earl Thomas, and even invest a high draft pick. Go after Richie Grant. So if Earl Thomas is washed up, you've got that other guy sitting in line ready to usurp his place on the roster. And you don't have to pay him a lot. You can sign him on a short deal, maybe a prove-it deal, maybe a 1-2 year deal, a couple $1 million. It's not what it would have cost before. I think that is a fantastic signing, and that is one of the reasons I absolutely love the fan interaction here on the Saturday Morning Hangover.
Absolutely. I love fan interaction too, but I'm staring at my laptop right now, and I'm starting to work.
Eskimo brothers?
Yeah. And John Dyer, if you're listening, do I proceed or no? I mean, you screamed it out.
Keep going.
I don't want to keep going.
I don't know. Wait.
Oh, okay.
Is that a work computer in terms of does News 4 search your history? Okay.
No,
yeah, go for it then.
Mine.
You're good.
All right, here I go.
When we come back, Jeff Garcia is going to find out what an Eskimo brother was. And is Speedy Claxton above Lamarcus Aldridge in the Spurs hierarchy? We're going to talk about that next right here. Plus, I have to tell you that we are going to dedicate an entire full segment to our thoughts on WandaVision. We are far enough off, and we're getting ready for Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the new Justice League is about to drop. The Snyder Cut. That's right. That's all coming up right here on the Saturday Morning Hangover. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Getting ready for the hangover without the headache. The Saturday Morning Hangover. Saturday mornings 9 to 11. James Pledger and Jack Thompson bring you the latest on the Cowboys, Spurs, Texans, Longhorns, Aggies, Red Raiders, Roadrunners, and more. Check out the Saturday Morning Hangover. Saturday mornings 9 to 11. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app. Discover and enjoy your favorite music, news, and talk radio from live stations across the country. Listen anywhere on all mobile and home devices with the radio.com app.
Today on Hey Culligan, hard water hurts appliances. Go for Glenn in Glenview.
Yeah, hey Culligan, my appliances aren't that old and they're already on the fritz.
Sounds like your hard water might be giving your water appliances a hard time, but there is hope in the form of a Culligan high-efficiency water softener that helps extend the life of dishwashers, washing machines, heating systems.
Okay, hey Culligan.
Yeah, Glenn?
Yeah, hook me up.
Glenn, one high-efficiency appliance-saving softener already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning. Experience the Movie Metal pop-up installation at the San Antonio Museum of Art. This limited-time installation displays the artistry of the iconic automobiles and creatures that made the movie. See Batmobiles, Speed Racer, time-traveling DeLorean, and Iron Man's Formula One race car. Towering statues such as Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, and Predator. Movie Metal at the San Antonio Museum of Art. Now through April 11th. Presented by Generations Federal Credit Union and Spectrum Reach.
Most of us don't think about our brakes until we need to think about our brakes. Jason Minix here for newbrakes.com, nubrakes.com. They are a mobile brake shop. They will come to you to fix your brakes. We all like things to be easy and convenient, and New Brakes has done that with brake repair. They will come to your home or office or wherever you are. Busy work schedule, no problem. Relaxing at the house, no worries. New Brakes comes to you, and they will repair your brakes while you do whatever it is you do. At New Brakes, they only fix brakes. New Brakes provides convenient and affordable brake repairs without the normal upsells traditional repair shops love to give you once your car is up on the lift. Most repairs are done in less than an hour. New Brakes uses premium brake parts, and they back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go read all the 5-star reviews. If your brakes are squeaking or grinding, go to newbrakes.com and schedule your repair. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN. Newbrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
All right, we're quick into this because I want to get to the full nerding out coming up here in about 10 minutes. Jeff Garcia, Spurs Zone, sitting in for Jack Thompson. I appreciate you, Jeff. Thank you so much. You've kept me company when I wasn't at 100% to start the show. I think I'm starting to get there now.
You're getting better now. But you may be getting better right now, but I'm not getting better because I just looked up what Eskimo brothers meant.
Only God. They were actual brothers. And it wasn't at a later point in time. It was at the same time.
Wow. Again, another.
And then the wife of Earl Thomas tracked down he and his brother via Snapchat location and busted in on him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. There's a whole thing, man. You've got to look up this TMZ story. It is fantastic in terms of just hilarity.
Yeah, it is, but I can never look at an Eskimo pie the same way anymore. I can't.
He
I can't.
is Jeff
It's ruined for me.
Garcia. You can follow on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Speaking of the Spurs, we had a
Yes,
call
sir.
off air talking about where Lamarcus ranks in the Spurs hierarchy, right?
Yeah, and I threw a name out there that people forget. But
You
we'll bring him
did.
up in a
You
few
did.
seconds.
But where does Lamarcus fall? Christopher Lewis with the win on Facebook Live. If you're not watching on Facebook Live,
Good job, Chris.
I mean, Paris, I get you. I get you, my man. Oh, and Joe Hernandez says definitely read the whole story, Jeff, by the way. You're going to want to look this up.
no.
Earl Thomas and his
Here we
brother,
go.
Austin, his wife. It's a whole thing. It's TMZ. It is fantastic. You're going to want to look this up just for your own personal amusement after the show.
All right. But somebody said the word Claxton in.
Somebody said the word Claxton.
Yeah.
So where does Lamarcus rank? Because if you've been under a rock this week, Popovich broke the news that they're mutually parting ways. They're trying to find a trade that benefits him in terms of, it sounds like they're working with Lamarcus to find a place that he wants to go, not somewhere that just wants him and they're going to ship him there for whatever. They're trying to find equal value, but at the same time, keep Lamarcus happy, right?
Yes.
So as we go into this, we have to think now that he is not going to play for the Spurs ever again.
Yes, sir.
And his time in San Antonio is done and that they have sent him home. Where does he rank in the Spurs hierarchy?
Absolutely. So I think earlier in the show, we already knocked out about 4 or 5. So we had the big
so
three.
it's
There's
Manu,
three right there.
It's
there's the big
Duncan,
three.
and it's Parker.
And there's Tony. Okay. And by the way, this is in no particular order. This is just top 10. Like that.
Yeah.
Number one has to be. Yeah.
After that,
I'm
it's
Admiral,
Robinson.
Admiral, Gervin.
That's 5. That's your
There's
5.
5.
That's your
Okay.
starting
There's your top
5.
5. Okay. let's go
And
to
I can
number
agree
6.
with that unanimously.
Yeah.
Top 5. But I think
6.
I think
Oh, go ahead.
Lamarcus starts to work his way into that list here.
Eesh. Okay. I'll address that in a bit, but let me just keep on going. So I think at 6, I got Alvin Robertson.
Okay.
I mean, the numbers don't
I get
lie.
it. The numbers don't lie.
Impressive. I mean, really impressive.
Before my time,
after
but I
that-
get it.
Yeah. After that, you go with Captain Late, James Silas.
Okay. He's up in
You
the
throw in
rafters.
Larry-
I get it.
Yep. you
But they
throw in
also put
Keenan.
they put a bunch of names up in the rafters. So
They should not be up there. Absolutely. Keenan gets in there.
Who?
Keenan, Larry Keenan.
I don't know who you speak.
Yeah,
of.
I get before your time. Yeah.
His name's not in the rafters, so I don't know who he is.
His name's not on the rafters. No. Sean Elliott. I still got Sean Elliott in 10.
Ahead
the top
of
10.
Lamarcus.
Well, hang on.
I'm just asking. Ahead of
I am.
Lamarcus. I'm asking a question. That's it.
It's close for me, man. It's really close. But I'm going to give him the slight edge. John Dyer, yeah. John is having fun today on Facebook.
He says, I think I'm in the rafters. John, I think I am too. It's Pledger 5. Check up there next time you're there. They're
And
letting
then
fans
rounding
back
out-
in, so.
And rounding out, I got Rodman.
I loved Rodman. Loved Rodman. And I'll tell a story about Dennis Rodman that I don't get to tell a whole lot. I got to meet him. I was in high school at the time, obviously, and I just recently moved to here. I'm from the Houston area, so I was a big Rockets fan, but meeting Dennis Rodman was like, right?
Right.
And so it was late. Because this would have been, what year did Rodman arrive at the Bulls? 96?
Yes, sir.
So this was the 96 season. So he spent half the year here in San Antonio, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a sophomore in high school. I just started driving, basically. And we're running around New Braunfels and we're out doing crazy, dumb stuff like high schoolers do, right? And we went to the McDonald's over there off of, it's the only one that was there at the time. It was the one off of I-35 and Loop 337, right there off the highway. And so we're going through the drive-thru and there's this awesome car in front of us, right? And as he turns the corner, I see the hair. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Dennis Rodman. And even as a Rockets fan, I'm like, oh my God, it's Dennis Rodman, right? He gets out of his car, and he has such a bad reputation, but he was such a great dude in this instance. And this is like 2:30 in the morning, right? 2:30, 3 o'clock. McDonald's was still open, but it was grave shift kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we were out super late doing dumb high school things, getting McDonald's at early hours of the morning. And it was after a game somewhere. And he was, for some reason, in New Braunfels. And his car was in the drive-thru. And he signed a napkin for me. I have that napkin framed and hung up.
Nice.
But he signed a napkin for me. It was really cool. And this was out of the drive-thru of all things, because he heard me screaming from the car behind him, like, oh my God, it's Dennis Rodman. And he was
must have really been fanboying.
I was fanboying pretty hard.
Fanboying big time. Yeah.
Because he was Dennis Rodman, dude. He was
the Worm.
He was the Worm. He was of the Bad Boys. That's where I knew him. And he was in town, and he was about to go to the Bulls and start winning championships. Like, it was Dennis Rodman. And it was a really cool moment, and it spoke to Dennis Rodman as a person. I thought to be able in that moment to be like, cool, man. And I told him, I'm like, I'm not a Spurs fan. I'm from Houston. I'm a Rockets fan, but I'm a basketball fan, and you are one of the greatest defenders and rebounders I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely. And, I want to circle back to the whole Sean Elliott thing and Lamarcus Aldridge. I'm going to
Rodman did a whole bunch of things at 2 a.m., just not McRib.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The fact that you said 2:30 a.m. Rodman out, I'm like, okay, I'm not shocked.
Yeah, but nobody should be.
But do you bump Sean Elliott out for Kawhi Leonard?
Oh, Kawhi's easily just outside the top 5 for me.
Okay. So then if you just move that one move, removing Elliott out and my list and replacing it. Again, this was in no particular order. It was just 10. Just here's 10. Then there's your 10 ahead of LMA right there with Rodman. In my list, Rodman rounded it out.
Who was the guy I didn't know?
Keenan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would put Lamarcus Aldridge in that point.
Hmm.
I mean, you got to remember, what he did. He averaged over 20. Like, Lamarcus's numbers also back it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about everything, but his numbers backed it up. Plus, there's the fact of, and I think he should be cheered unconditionally when he comes back, because you have to remember, San Antonio, no free agents ever pick you, and Lamarcus picked you. He picked you over the Lakers. He picked you over the Suns.
Yep.
He was picking you.
And staying, and he technically could have stayed in Portland. So at that time, it's going to be interesting to see where he lands and the fan reception.
And Dallas was in on him too, if you remember, and that's his home.
Dallas was. But again, San Antonio at that time presented the best shot for him at a title.
He is Jeff Garcia of Spurs Zone. You can follow him, News 4 Spurs Zone coverage, or my favorite way to follow him, the Locked On Spurs podcast, my absolute favorite way to follow him, where you can get all the content, including all the Spurs news. It is at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. That's what you need to be following. He is sitting in for Jack Thompson. I am James Pledger. You can follow me at I am Pledger. When we come back, we're finally gonna nerd out right here on the Saturday Morning Hangover. That's right. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Pick the perfect bracket in the ESPN San Antonio Basketball Mayhem, brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. And you could win
$1 million.
Details and registration at ESPNSA.com. Even if your bracket isn't perfect, the highest scoring local winner will win a $100 gift certificate to Pinkerton's Barbecue. ESPN San Antonio Basketball Mayhem, brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Receive a $5 rebate by trading up any non-contact thermometer toward an Exergen temporal scanner purchased at any retailer. With COVID continuing to spread, nothing matters more than having an accurate thermometer that's backed by more than 80 published peer-reviewed clinical studies, like the Exergen temporal scanner. Even after getting the COVID vaccine, you should be monitoring for fever to make sure you are protected. Keep your family and yourself safe by trading up your non-contact thermometer for an accurate temporal scanner and a $5 rebate from Exergen, where accuracy matters. Details at Exergen.com.
This is DJ Nigel Nige, aka MC Water Closet, playing the tunes of Quarter Moon. Music speaks when plumbing stinks.
Hang on there, MC Weirdo. What are you up to?
Joel, I'm blending my two passions, plumbing and radio. Listen, spinning songs, removing clogs. You're listening to the best plumtastic music. Coming up, it's only Flushing Bowls, but I like it, by the Rolling Commodes.
Oh my goodness.
Then we're wasting away again in Water Heaterville.
Stop. Nigel, I think your headphones are on way too tight. Folks, when your home or office has plumbing or AC issues, you can always count on Quarter Moon to get you back in tune. Call us anytime, 651-5899. I've got a song for you, Nigel.
That's the spirit, Joel. Music is what feelings sound like. What is it?
It's called You're Fired by Joel and the Pink Slips.
Huh?
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, 210-651-5899. License number M13229, TACLA 000743445E.
You decided to upgrade your outdoor deck. So you ordered the essentials: a power washer, a set of patio chairs, and a shiny new grill. And you use your Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping and up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member, which you put towards your most essential deck addition, a bird feeder. Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
Did you know just the simple act of dressing for work can make you more productive? According to a recent study by the Wall Street Journal, getting dressed for work each morning can even improve your performance. Untucked shirts are the easy way to look sharp instantly, and they're designed to be worn untucked so you'll stay comfortable all day long. So for your next Zoom call, lose the t-shirt and grab an untucked shirt instead. It'll also be your go-to when we start returning to all the things we've been missing. Try one today at any Untucked store or at untucked.com. Untucked shirts, designed to be worn untucked.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
That's right. The Saturday morning hangover is coming to an end, and I think I need to go get a pina colada after this is over.
I think you had.
I think I've deserved
pina colada.
I think I've deserved
it. You really want to start that cycle all over again, don't you, James? You really want to go there.
Why wouldn't you? It's Jeff Garcia. You can follow him on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. I am at I am Pledger. This is the Saturday morning hangover, and it's finally here. It's nerd talk time.
Is it time? Is it time? Is it time?
What?
It's like that little kid in the back. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Absolutely loved the WandaVision story. I thought it was fantastic.
Yes. Yes,
what
sir.
were your thoughts, Jeff?
I thought the story was great. I love that they did their best to stick to House of M. Obviously, there's characters they can't introduce because House of M is way more complicated than what you saw on the WandaVision. Everything was great for me. Agatha, perfect. Vision, great. Ending was a little subpar.
Why?
I'm not saying it was horrible.
Why?
I just really felt they had opportunities to really go out with a bang. I mean, they went out with a bang, but then there's going out with a bang. And I think they didn't do that. But I
thought
like
the ship of Theseus thing was awesome between the two visions. Like that's how I expect the two visions to solve a problem. Is it comes down to not physical strength or anything like that. It comes down to a
fable. Yeah. It comes down to that. But And I get the argument of that this is about Wanda and not about anything else. It's about Wanda and her journey.
Wanda and her journey and her dealing with the amount of pain and loss that she's had to deal with in her life.
Exactly. And I'm not saying they should take away from that, but I think you just hint to that. If they can hint to Captain Marvel 2 with Photon.
Oh, man, they did hint to that. Incredible.
Yeah, they can hint to Photon and the Scree and the Squirrel still out there and Captain Marvel. Great. Why can't they do the same for the X-Men? It was right there.
No, it's fine. It's fine. They're gonna introduce it on their own terms. They didn't blow it.
They blew it.
They're gonna introduce it on their own terms. And I think sometimes we as fans get caught up in our own fan theories, whether it be Mephisto or introducing the mutants and kind of a reverse House of M kind of thing.
Right.
Like, I get it, but who's to say they're not gonna do that only later? Because it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's what they do. They don't do the DC thing where they rush to the finish line. They plant seeds along the way that will eventually lead you there.
That's all I wanted was a seed. That's all I wanted was a seed.
But the seed is there. The seed is there.
It's not there.
It is there.
It's not there.
Photon, Photon is your
rest.
seed, because once you go through the hex multiple times, it rewrites your DNA, right? And we learned that Wanda had these powers before being introduced to the Infinity Stone, which just amplified them, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we can then suggest that if something later happens, the people in the hex may end up becoming mutants later on if they're exposed again to that kind of magic.
I just think they could have used Quicksilver just a little differently. I mean, first of all, using the actor that played Quicksilver in, and I guess the non-MCU area, the Sony X-Men, I guess the
Fox X-Men, Evan Peters.
Thank you. Yeah, that would have been a great bridge to bring those guys in. Bring in the guy who played the younger.
It would have been fantastic as a fan theory.
That was the bridge.
But here's the thing: we don't know what their bridge is yet, so it's hard to, because it wasn't what we wanted it to be mad about it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not
I can be
about
mad
it.
about Justice League because they tried to cram 17 movies into one. I can be mad about Batman versus Superman. I can be mad about those movies because I can see what they did wrong. Here's the thing. The MCU is setting something up. I don't know what it is yet, but knowing the MCU, they've planted the seeds already with WandaVision. They're going to plant more seeds with Falcon and the Winter Soldier starting next week. I'm in on the MCU. Just give me the breadcrumbs. I'm going to eat them up. If my fan theory doesn't work out, sorry, Mephisto. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, I'm not going to be disappointed because my fan theory didn't work out, because the MCU has a track record of leading me a breadcrumb that eventually leads to something else. Much like Avengers Age of Ultron, which they constantly you should watch this movie once WandaVision ends on Disney Plus. It's the suggested title, but it is a completely underrated movie because it leads to the fraction that leads to Civil War, that leads to Infinity War, which leads to the crux between Tony and Steve, which makes their reuniting in Endgame all those years later so much more enjoyable.
I'm glad you brought up Age of Ultron because I always felt that it's been underrated too. I know
completely underrated.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie. I thought Spader did well voicing the Middle Menace. I thought that was awesome. But circling back to WandaVision again, I'm not mad at the ending. I just feel like those breadcrumbs, they could have been sprinkled a little more. That's all. I'm just saying, I just need a little bit more breadcrumbs.
Much like the San Antonio Spurs in their heyday, just trust the process, Jeff. Just trust the process.
I'm okay with the process, but I just want
They never added the big free agent. We always got mad. They never did anything at the trade deadline. We always got mad. But the end result was titles and sustained success. The MCU has titles and sustained success. Just trust the process, Jeff.
You know who's going for a title? Darkside. He's going for a title right now.
Darkside's trying to go for a title, and I'm interested to see where that ends up. Thank you so much for joining me, Jeff.
No problem.
Thanks so much for keeping me company when I was obviously not at 100% today.
I got your back, kids. You know I always do.
At Jeff G Spurs Zone.
Your home for everything Cowboys.
Touchdown, Cowboys.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM KZDC San Antonio.
Bye, guys. My name is Sue. I'm 58, and I work